A very beautiful morning to you. It is exactly 35 minutes gone past 6 a.m. from the studio of Wales Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. Today, the first in the month of April 2026. Happy new month to you. I wish you the very best of this new month. And I pray that all the good things that we've been praying for this month will come to pass. Good morning and welcome to another day, another conversation about the growth of Nigeria. Yes, as I would always say, the growth of Nigeria is the business of you and I. And that's why it's important that every chance we get, every opportunity that we get, we lend our voices. Even though, it might seem like, oh, we keep lending our voices. Why does it feel like we're not being heard? Sometime later, someday, that voice will become something that would drive a real change in Nigeria. So don't get tired of, lending your voice when it comes to the matters of Nigeria and its growth. Because a better Nigeria is possible with you and I. And it's also very beneficial for you and I and generations to come. My name is Toluwaleke Alli. And this morning, I welcome you to Perspectives Unlimited. Perspectives Unlimited is that platform where we go beyond the news to help you make sense of some of the stories across our various national dailies. And this morning, you can watch us live on Facebook. As always, watch us live on Facebook at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. At Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. We're live on Facebook and also on YouTube at Wales Radio 89.3 FM. As we go on the show, do well to drop your comments on our Facebook page. And of course, when it is time, we will be sure to take your comments on the show this morning. And so together with the analysts in the studio this morning, like I said, we will be delving into the dailies. But first, let's take a look at the front pages across some of our national dailies this morning. All right, let's begin with the front page of the Punch newspaper for this morning. The lead story reads, federal government eyes oil windfall to fund 9 trillion naira budget gap. And it has 3 riders. Federal government raises 2026 spending from 58.12 trillion naira to 68.3 trillion naira. Government bet on oil boom, fresh borrowing. National Assembly justifies budget hike, cites settling arrears and economic reality. Tinubu's $6 billion loan request gets NASNOD, debt set to climb. That's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. Above the masthead, Easter, DHQ orders troop alert, confirms U.S. support. And that's on page 7. Afrexim Bank drives $4 billion funding for Dangote refinery. The story can be found on page 30. 2027, Transport Minister resigns, Adelabu, others hold on. And that's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Defection tsunami, 27 reps dump PDP, others for APC, ADC. And the story is on page 8. Also, there is the pictorial story of the Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, during an operational visit to Borno State. Plateau killings, Tinubu invites governor as deaths hit 28. That's on page 7. Lagos CP withdraws task force from traffic duties. That story can be found on pages 4 and 5. And the final story reads, CBN sets a tough cybersecurity timeline for banks. And that's on page 27. On the front page of the Guardian newspaper, 2027, mass defections in House of Reps as 28 switch parties. And that's on page 3. Middle East crisis, marketers urge federal government to consider temporary subsidy. That's also on page 3, and still on that page 3, insecurity, Tinubu meets security chiefs, summons Motfang. 2026 budget, NAS OK's 68.3 trillion naira budget shifts a burden of funding execution to federal government. And that's on page 6. Airline lose 32.5 billion naira to flight delays, cancellations in 1 year. That's on page 22. Transport Minister resigns as Adelabu shelves Oyo Guba ambition. That's on page 6. Deported Nigerians decry treatment in Mozambique as NIDCOM urges calm in SA. That can be found on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. JAMB releases 2026 UTME mock results, blacklist 20 CBT centers. That's also on page 7. And on page 4, maritime inefficiencies, delayed reforms cost Nigeria 5 trillion naira yearly. Afrexim Bank leads $4 billion financing for Dangote refinery, commits $2.5 billion. That's on page 23. On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper for this morning, just killings, Tinubu, Mutfwang, NBA vow justice. And it has 3 riders, Plateau won't bow to terror. Mutfwang declares. Confirms 28 killed in gunmen attack on Agwan Rukuba. Enough is enough. Atiku, Obi, Kwakwanso demand action. And that's on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Above the masthead, Nigeria's oil exploration drops 45% on limited activities. And that's on page 20. Court rules on El Rufai's bail today. That's on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Senate extends 2025 budget implementation to June 30. That's on page 8, and still on page 8. APC pressuring INEC to undermine us after Kwankwaso's defection. That's according to ADC. Nigeria's debt to hit 155 trillion naira. A Senate approves federal government $6 billion loan request. Task 3 riders experts highlight naira depreciation, debt service risks. Atiku slams Tinubu, Senate over $6 billion loan approval in 4 hours. And that's on page 5. 27 reps defect as APC strengthens majority in the House. And that's on page 8. Quickly checking out the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning. 30 reps move across parties. 14 join APC. ADC gains 9. PDP loses 12. And it has a rider, we are leaving battered PDP for Wike on Thursday. Bauchi governor declares likely to join ADC. That's on pages 4 and 13. Plateau killings. Plateau Kaduna killings affront to all Nigeria stands for. That's according to Tinubu. It has 3 riders direct security agencies to fish out perpetrators. IGP deploys DIG to Jos. Plateau government reinforces ban on motorcycle operators. That's on page 3. Still on page 3, NAS passes 68.323 trillion naira 2026 budget. Approves additional loan of $6.9 billion within hours. Court orders for feature of UK House linked to Jeremiah Hussaini. That's on page 4. Troops arrest 16 logistics suppliers, other bandits in Northeast. Foil mass abduction, rescue over 150 victims in Borno. That's on page 26. Federal government unveils a new standard for fairly used vehicles, says no certification, no entry. That's also on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And finally, Afrexim Bank leads $4 billion financing for Dangote Refinery with $2.5 billion commitment. And that's on page 6. And those are the stories across some of our national dailies for this morning. And joining me on the conversation this morning is our analyst, Chukwemeka Munachi. So good morning, Chukwemeka.
Good morning, Tony.
And happy New Month
happy
to
New
you.
Month. Okay, today is April
1st. Yes,
okay.
Yes, happy New Month.
Same to you.
All right. Let's begin with the lead story on the front page of the Nigeria Tribune Vanguard newspaper rather this morning. Nigeria's debts to hit 155 trillion naira. A Senate approves federal government's $6 billion loan request. Nigeria's total debt stock is set to rise to 155.1 trillion naira following an additional $6 billion loan request by President Bola Tinubu, hurriedly approved by the Senate yesterday. The $6 billion loan at an exchange rate of 1,400 naira per dollar adds 8.4 trillion naira to the country's debt stock, which stood at 146.69 trillion naira at the end of 2025 to 155.1 trillion naira. Experts, however, want that the new borrowing comes with huge foreign exchange risks and will lead to the worsening of the federal government's debt service to revenue ratio, which is estimated at 60% by the end of 2025. The approval for the 6 billion naira yesterday came barely 3.5 hours after the president of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, read the letter from the president seeking approval. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar flayed what he described as lightning speed approval of a fresh $6 billion external loan request by the federal government. The letter was read for the first time, scaled the second reading, and read the third time, and passed the same day by the senators. And the Senate approved the loans following the presentation and consideration of the report by Senator Alli, who is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts. Now, the question a lot of Nigerians are asking is that what was the presentation, what was the report that was given if the letters got to the Senate and it was passed in 3.5 hours? Now, just like that, there are so many other bills that, are very, very important to Nigerians, and it's still on the floor of the House. But here we are. The moment it comes to bills about the president seeking for loans, it feels like it gets, quicker attraction from the Senate because they don't mind passing it with immediate effect without proper scrutiny.
I want to tell you that I'm going to look at this issue you raised from a different perspective. You see, when when you said lightning speed approval, in a democracy, there is division of roles and responsibilities. When the executive is in bed with the National Assembly, there is a problem. That country will never have vibrant democracy. And it didn't start with this administration. It started way back in 1999. I will give you the history. If Nigerians had shouted at the point it started, we would have had robust engagement with those we call our leaders. But because we kept quiet, I will tell you the story. 1999, when Obasanjo was in power, the Senate president then was Dr. Chuba Okadibo. Vibrant, a man that knows what he wants or what he wanted, a man that you cannot bend, a man that will stand his ground. But what happened? Obasanjo wanted a man Friday, somebody that will do his bidding, somebody that when he coughs, the person will just bend down and do what he wanted. And you know what happened? Okadibo was removed. Go and check how many Senate presidents we had under Obasanjo. Nigerians kept quiet. That was when the seed was sown, that every president that comes to power must have somebody he will put in his pocket. Somebody that, if he just let him not write anything on paper, he will be approved immediately. Remember that Ahmed Lawan told Nigerians that he will sign anything, even with his eyes closed, as far as he came from the late President Muhammadu Buhari. That is what we are witnessing. Because every government that comes in power, they will make sure that, look, the Senate president is very, very important. If he's not in our party, if he's not somebody we can control, and once that person becomes controllable, somebody that you can control and everything, forget about democracy. Because when you bring something to the Senate floor, you have to explain to them what you want to do with the money. They will ask you questions. What do you want to do with this money you are seeking approval for? At the end of the day, do we still have such things in Nigeria? We won't have it. So they will keep on borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. And the people of Nigeria, when you say Nigerians, how do we even express ourselves when all organs of expression have been bought over? So we keep on reading of borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. And what, you see, I am not against borrowing, Tolu, if you know what you want to do with the money. There is no real business person who will not borrow. That's what banks call other people's money. You must borrow. But the issue is that, what are you borrowing for? Is it for consumption or for production? If you borrow for production, you are borrowing for the right reason. But if you borrow for consumption, you are borrowing for a wrong reason. All this money we are borrowing, what are we doing? Has it reflected on Nigerians? The primary reason why government is borrowing. That's the question that should agitate our minds. And where there is no accountability, I keep saying it, don't expect that society to have fiscal responsibility. It can't happen. Because nobody is asking you, hey, come, what are you doing with this money? Nobody is asking, nobody is checking you. Nobody is breathing down your neck to find out how did you spend. And people who are supposed to ask the executive are in bed with the executive. So what happens? At the end of the day, Nigerians are in for it.
But what about the opposition? You know, the opposition has been speaking up a lot.
Listen, Tolu, let me tell you. When you have an opposition that only desires to win the next election, that's not the real reason for opposition. Opposition is to put the government on their feet, to make sure that what government is saying is exactly what it's doing. But the issue is so complex. Even if opposition is saying something, will the judiciary that is already in alignment with the executive do anything? Because in a democracy where the judiciary has been beheaded, there's nothing that can work like we are seeing in our country. Everybody, those in power will do whatever. Because that's why when Buhari was there, we are hearing, go to court. When you go to court, what do you see in the court? Nothing. Because we have lost it all, Tolu. We have lost it. You know, our justice system offers no hope. It does not offer any hope for the masses. It does not. Do you know that we have the right as individuals to take the federal government to court over this excessive borrowing? But which court are you going to go take them to? No, which court are you going to take them to? So we are in a fix. We're in a catch-22 situation in our country. All we read these things, they are borrowing, what are we going to do? If you check the amount of money Nigeria is owing, you discover that it's like this country has been sold and bought.
Soon to be 155.1 trillion naira.
If you change that thing into naira, I don't know what you are owing, Tolu, as a Nigerian. I don't know what I'm owing as a Nigerian. We are all owing. And they borrow this money in our name. And we have no input into what they are going to use this money for. And we don't know what they are going to use this money for. We don't know. We removed money from subsidy. We removed fuel subsidy. Telling Nigerians that when we remove money from subsidy, when we remove fuel subsidy, we are going to have a lot of money. Where went all the money that is coming to the government? Where went all the money that Nigeria is raking in right now as a result of the brouhaha in the Middle East? Where is the money? And we are still borrowing. May God help Nigeria.
All right, let's move on to the Punch newspaper, the lead story on the front.
And let me even add, Tolu, this is not the end of borrowing. You know. This is not the end. We are still going to borrow more. This is not the end. We are still going to go for more loans. Watch it. You will come back here, we'll discuss it.
All right, let's move on to the Punch newspaper and pick this headline, the lead story. Federal government eyes oil windfall to fund 9 trillion naira budget gap. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday asked the National Assembly to approve a 9.09 trillion naira increase in the 2026 budget. The government plans to finance the budget's increase through crude oil gains linked to the United States-Iran conflict and by securing new loans, which we've already talked about. The president explained that the proposed adjustment is intended to enhance fiscal transparency and supports the effective execution of key national programs. And in the same vein, the Senate also extended the capital budget implementation for 2025 to June 30. This is I really don't know, what to say to this. So our budget was upped from 58.47 trillion naira for the year 2026, for the fiscal year 2026, to 68.30 trillion naira. And it passed through the third reading that same day. That same yesterday that the letter.
Passed. I've told you the genesis, and I've told you that Tolu, we are just spectators in our own country, and it's unfortunate, though we are not involved in this. Nigerians have been abrogated. Go and check the meaning of abrogation. When you don't matter, when things are done on your behalf and you don't have an input, that is where we are. And that is not leadership.
But when exactly are we going to be able to stick to the number of to the frame, the time frame of our budget? Because it's like every single year we keep. Presently now we are running budgets of about 3 years together.
It's not possible, Tolu, where you don't have people whose only mandate is to be in power. It's not possible. It can only be possible when people are prepared for an office and they know that when they get to that office, they have the interest of the people at heart. They know that leadership is about service. It's not about self-aggrandizement.
Okay.
It's about service delivery. When you don't have that mindset, there is no way you go to that office and behave. You will go there and look around, You don't even, you put your hand there, you do, and there's nobody asking you any question. What are you going to do?
Okay, we'll go on a commercial break now. When we come back, we'll talk about the implication of us always extending and, running this number of budgets.
The implication is that we will keep on being on a spot. No progress. We keep on postponing. We keep on running. We keep on doing things that will not make us to come out of the woods. That's just the meaning.
We'll be right back.
Do you want to eat and stay healthy? Are you looking for healthy, high-quality chickens? Do you desire to start your own poultry farm? SMC Foods is your reliable plug for your healthy chickens. We specialize in the sales of premium and healthy chickens and poultry produce. We offer consultation services for your poultry farm setups. We are located at Oluyole Extension, Olusoji, Ibadan. To place your order or for enquiries, call Modupe on 0813 970 3731. At SMC Foods, we are reliable, tested, and trusted.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour. I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data. Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service. One Data? Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The general public is hereby advised to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Verify the licensing status of such schemes on this website: www.cbn.gov.ng, www.nicom.gov.ng, www.pencom.gov.ng, www.sec.gov.ng, www.fsrcc.gov.ng. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call CBN 0817-665-7060, 0707-338-4828, SEC 0209-462-1168. Announcer, FSRCC.
Boost your business with Wells Radio 89.3 FM. In a competitive world of business, strategic brand and product positioning is key to growth. Don't remain unseen in the shadows. Shine a spotlight on your brand with Wells Radio 89.3 FM today. Why Wells Radio? We are your state's #1 family radio station. We connect with the heart of families in your state. As the smallest unit of the society, families trust Wells Radio for quality content and information. Visit us today along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. Our white and blue building just before Sharp Corner ensures your business won't go unnoticed. Advertise with us today. Call our marketing office on 0903 936 8185. Call Toby on 0803 509 3394. Ayo on 0706 840-7359. Take the leap today. Let Wells Radio 89.3 FM be the megaphone for your business success. You won't regret it.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
All right, welcome back. This is still Perspectives Unlimited on Wales Radio 89.3 FM. So we're talking about the extension of the capital budget implementation for 2025 to June 30 and the increase especially. That increase is a lot. 9.81 trillion naira higher than what was previously budgeted.
So, do you need a prophet to tell you why we are in such a situation? It's as a result of fiscal responsibility. If we had done the needful, Tolu, we can't be having these kind of issues we are having. And to address this, it calls for systemic, and long-range planning. Our leaders, do they have the mindset to do that? They don't have. You understand? There are people in authority that don't understand that being in leadership position is not just about standing behind the microphone and be talking. It demands hard work because the lives of millions of people are in your hands. And every decision you make has ripple effect. Do we have such leaders in Nigeria who know that, look, a lot of people, that is millions of Nigerians, are dependent on what you say and what you didn't say. That's why if you go to countries that are highly organized, leaders don't just wake up to talk. I want to give you an example. Do you know what the thing that is going on in Iran, among Iran, Israel, and America? Do you know that how Trump set a confusion in Iran when he told the world that America is discussing with some Iranians? And you know these people, the system has been disorganized. The leaders are hiding in different places. So they don't know who America is actually talking to. This one is suspecting this one. And that statement Trump made sometime, the price of oil came down. Because the people in Iran, the leadership in Iran do not understand who is this man talking to. Is there anybody? This one is suspecting this one. They were all, just psychological warfare, just because he made a statement. When leaders understand that what you say and what you don't say matters a lot, they will know how to open their mouth and talk. Now, look at what we are talking about, our budget. You say they carry it over. It can't work. When you went to school. When a student is carrying subjects over, every now and then, what does that tell you about that student? No, let's talk. What does it tell about that student? You understand? That's what we are doing here. There is no seriousness. There is no seriousness. People now, the world is some countries now are even devising a means for their workforce not to experience the effect of this war in the Middle East by telling them not to come to work on some days, work from home. They remove some taxes. Dangote, go and check how many taxes that Dangote pays for each liter of fuel. Now, the only time our government asked people to work from home was because they did APC convention. Did you see the difference? They told people in Abuja, you can work from home, just because of that. Now, the high cost of foodstuff is on the increase. There is no effect. There is no way government is planning to cushion the effect of this war in the Middle East on Nigerians. Is that leadership?
All right, let's open the phone lines. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, or 0911-333-893. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
This is Adrinka from
Welcome to the show.
Concerning the Nigerian debt that has this borrowing on the federal government, just take a look at it. All this borrowing up and down is not even effective in our economy. We are complaining of electricity, we are complaining of fuel, cost of products in the market. So what is not the essence of this borrowing when it does not even have effect on our economy? So I urge the federal government they should reduce the cost of governance. At least if this is being reduced, I mean maybe we will feel the impact. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Adironke. Now, of this amount, part of the notable allocations include 2.69 trillion naira for the Ministry of Defense, 1.27 trillion naira for the Ministry of Police Affairs, and 1.01 trillion naira for the Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, my main concern would be the one going to the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Police Affairs. And this will bring me to the next story, where in the Vanguard newspaper, the president, the governor of Plateau State, and the NBA vowed that justice will be served in just killings. Well, let's pick this call first. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Yes, ma. Ruth calling from Alaka.
Welcome to the show, Ruth.
Yeah, thank you, ma. This government continues to borrow without delivering tangible results. I believe loans should be tied to transparent, productive projects that drive economic growth and can be repaid. But here we are, there are nothing to show for all this loan that they have been collecting. And even the one they just want to collect now, say our Robert Stamp senator, that they just continue to approve borrowing without any sufficient project to show for it. See how quick they approve it. This is so bad. So it's so obvious these people are not for us. They are just after their own selfish interest. Because I just hope that this government, they will use this new loan to please do the needful on time. So that we can really feel the impact. All the work that they have been doing, nothing to show. And now we all keep urging the lenders that they should insist on strict oversight before extending any further credit to this Nigerian government. Because our future is in jeopardy with this bad governance, and it's not good for us at all. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much.
Which lender will not give you money when they know that you have a lot to pay for it? They will give you if you want.
You have the resources.
You have the resources. They will give you, and they know that you are not taking this money. You are definitely not going to use it well. They will still keep giving you.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, the beautiful radio woman.
Good morning, sir.
God bless you. I'm Mary calling from Apata.
Welcome to the show.
Just like my mantra, a bank will never give you a loan and leave you alone. And that is why World Bank and other lending agencies they are on our neck, holding us on the neck to repay our money and also dictating for us. So what do you now expect? There's no big in borrowing, though. But even if as an individual you are borrowing, you are going on borrowing spree. A time will come that you discover that you will begin yourself migraine once the borrowing is too much and there's nothing to use the money for. So Nigerians should wait for the right time when we think we come, Mr. President, to come and account for the loan he has collected. That is where accountability comes in. Because let me shock you. This is not the last time that they are going to borrow. Before 2007 election, they are still going to borrow, not once, not twice. So this is not going to be the last. So we just have to ensure that Nigerians come together and seek for accountability. And lastly, on the issue of the defection of the governor of the Kaduna State, I've forgotten the name now.
No, we've not talked about the defection of the governor.
Okay, so thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gbenga Mario. All right, so as I was saying, the president, and then the governor of Jos condemned the governor of Plateau State, condemned the Jos killings, and I'll take a bit of that story from the Vanguard newspaper. President Bola Tinubu and Governor Caleb Mutfwang yesterday vowed justice for the victims of the gunmen's attack on Agwa Rukuba in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. The governor also declared that the state would not succumb to fear or intimidation following the deadly attack, confirming that the attack claimed 28 lives. The Nigerian Bar Association also condemned the killings in Jos, Plateau State, describing the attack on residents during Palm Sunday as gruesome and unacceptable. Okay, let's pick this call first. Hello.
Yeah, hello, West Radio. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Salam. I'm calling from Mawoto.
Welcome to the
Good
show, sir.
morning, Mr. Chukwemeka.
Yeah, good morning, Salami.
My dear brother, this country has become, in fact, the name Nigeria itself, with due apologies to Nigerians, is becoming frustrating. Honestly, the name Nigeria itself now symbolizes frustrations for Nigerians. Believe me sincerely. You see, I'm not even blaming Mr. President for all the borrowing there and there. Who do I blame? The parliamentarians. This parliament under Akpabio has become the most captured in the political annals of this country, the most compromised. Can you imagine a whooping amount of $6.9 billion approved within 4 hours? Same day, the law request stayed all through the 3 reading stages and was passed same day. Have you ever heard of that in the history of this country? Honestly speaking, that's why I said that the name Nigeria itself is becoming. It's now symbolizes frustration even to Nigerians. Now, madam, coming to your question about the implication of this loan, of this excessive borrowing here and there. What I'll just say, the implication, in my own understanding, is that Nigerians are already losing hope of any better future. Because, let me tell you, already Nigerians have lost hope in budgets and implementation and whatever. Because I remember years back that Nigerians used to wait around November, December. People used to kind of wind down their expectations on government because they know that from November, December, government will be taking stock and rounding up the budget for the year. And by January, February, people will be thinking, okay, there are usually low ebb of activity around government, businesses and whatever, because they know that okay, budget has not been read, so it will take some months or some weeks for government to start implementing the New Year's budget, which of course we also need more development, more projects and more. But for now, especially since the inception of this administration, there has always been budget carryover. You don't even know which year budget is being implemented correctly, because according to report this morning, they are saying that the Akpabio-led Senate again has approved the extension of last year budget implementation to June 29 or thereabouts.
June 30.
Which means that effectively that we are still currently implementing 2025 year budget in 2026. Is that failure or pass for any government? I leave Nigerians to judge that. May God help Nigeria, sir. But honestly speaking, this is not the best of time for Nigeria and Nigerians. May God help Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salami. All right, back to the story. Condemning the attack, the president, in a statement by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, yesterday assured Nigerians that those responsible would be brought to justice. He said anyone in the statement, now I'm quoting the statement, anyone who will sneak under the cover of the night and kill defenseless citizens, as done in Jos and Kahir village, is a heartless coward. But attacking soft targets in Jos, the objective is not only to cause harm, but also trigger a spiral of reprisal attacks and further bloodletting. Tinubu directed security agencies to intensify efforts to track down the perpetrators and curb the spread of misinformation capable of escalating tensions. He also commended the efforts of the Plateau State Governor, Caleb Mutfwang, and the Kaduna State Governor, Ubasani, in managing the crisis. Now, when the videos of the Jos killings started circulating, especially, for people who have other people there, it was a cause of concern. But it took some time, before the response of the president wasn't immediate.
No, it is,
It took a few days.
It can't be immediate. You
and
understand? It cannot be immediate. I'm not even talking of. You see, Tolu is not today.
Is the condemnation now that we're talking about? I mentioned that I'm concerned about the allocations for the Ministry of Defense and Police. Now, if we are allocating another 2.69 trillion naira for the Ministry of Defense, 1.27 trillion naira for the Ministry of Police Affairs, and yet it still feels like we are unable to take the bull by the horn when it comes to the security issues in Nigeria. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi said that condemnations without action must stop. And I believe that a lot of Nigerians also agree that we cannot always keep deploying every time issues happen without getting the right things to do when it comes to tackling insecurity. Innocent Nigerians keep dying every single day.
Does it mean that we don't know what to do? That's the question. You just made a statement. 2.something trillion. The more I said it yesterday. The more money we put into insecurity, the more insecure we are.
Should we say it is the fact that those who are
we are not willing. We are not willing. CDS, General Oluyede Olufemi, said terrorists in the Northeast should not be executed because they are Nigerians and they should be given time to repent. When a man saddled with the security of a country is saying such a thing, Tolu, what do you expect? Look, condemnation we have vowed. You see, today we started hearing it. It's already a cliche. It's a worn out. It's a jaded statement. We had it in Benue. We had it in Kwara. We had it all over Nigeria. We had it in Ondo. We had it all over the place. So the more Nigerians die, the more we throw money into insecurity, and the more the money goes, and the more and more people die again, and the more money comes. I said it yesterday that when insecurity becomes an industry, you cannot stop that industry because it has become a hole through which we sink money.
Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, West Radio.
Good morning, sir.
This is George. I'm calling you from Ologwe.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Some time ago I told you people that the statement made by the president before he came up to indicate his intention to become the leader of Nigeria already shows where he was going. He said, "It's my turn." Your turn to do what? If it's to rule Nigeria, by now we should have the same actions from him. Look at it. They killed people. The first thing he did is to give more money to people who are supposed to secure the place, who did not secure the place. He's giving them more money. And that is exactly what he came for. Let's go and take our own share. There is a lot of money now in Nigeria. They are making good money for the Nigerians and also the various ports by which Nigeria is making money. So it's just money and politics. That is what he came for. And somebody said this morning that we should wait for the time when we are going to ask him for accountability. How many of our past presidents did we bring up to say, come and account for what you did during your tenure? There is none. So definitely Nigeria is really in a very big trouble. Let's follow it until it finishes. Then another man will come and say, it's our turn. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Do you hear what I'm saying? If people, this idea of we'll bring people to book, where is the book? Buhari said all these things when he was alive. How many people were brought to book? That's the question. Gumi said something, and the federal government did not respond to what Gumi said. Till now. So Nigerians are seeing everything going on as just playing to the gallery.
How many more?
No, listen. The life is 2 for a penny here. It does not matter who dies or who lives. It does not matter. Look at what Nigerians said about state police. Look at the speed the snail speed our parliamentarians are using to do something about state police. Look at the lightning speed with which they approved borrowing. The good book says, where your heart is, where your treasure is where your heart is. You understand? We have only, I don't know, if I say only God, I don't believe in always calling God into, because God has given us everything. We are the people who refuse to make use of what God has given to us. And if we don't use it, we are calling for more problems for our country. Nigeria is in a dire situation. I said it yesterday that we are in a survival mood. And when a country is in a survival mood, there's no progress because everybody is living for a day. When people come to live for a day, I'm just existing for today. You don't know whether you die tomorrow or they will kidnap you or kill you. Forget about progress for that country. And our leaders do not think it necessary to address some of these basic issues Nigerians are crying for. The cardinal reason why we have government, protection of lives and property. Are we protected? That's the question.
All right, thank you so much. On Facebook, Suleiman Sharif says, good morning and kudos to everyone in the studio. There's no crime in borrowing if that fund spent judiciously and brings a positive impact in our country. In 2023, President Tinubu, under the APC-led government, promised that after removal of subsidy, Nigeria would not borrow again, especially the external borrowing. But reverse is the case. I can see this government as a government of deceit and lack of clarity, except hanky-panky propaganda. All right, it's time for us to go.
Thank you very much for having me. May God save Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation this morning. Perspectives Unlimited returns tomorrow at exactly 6:30 a.m. As I would always say, wherever it is that you find yourself, whatever it is that you find yourself doing, always ensure to do your own part by putting Nigeria out there in good light. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. I am Toluwaleke Alli. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Please listen to this important information. The views expressed by the interviewee in this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wells Radio 89.3 FM or its affiliated entities. Wells Radio 89.3 FM is committed to providing a platform for diverse perspectives and opinions, and the views expressed by guests on our programs are their personal viewpoints. Wells Radio 89.3 FM does not endorse or take responsibility for the content or opinions expressed by individual interviewees and callers. Thank you.